There's somehow someone's gonna be from their plastic sky. We'll find out as sure as we.
Good morning. We'll get started pretty soon. Welcome. Hannah, I think you're muted. That's just how I had it set.
I'm just trying to figure out if I'm in the right session because I could not open up the digital portfolio session on my end.
Okay. That is your session. This is the other one. I'm sad they're both at the same time and they're both on Seesaw, but you said you're not able to get into your session?
No, like I see the start button for my second session that I'm leading in an hour, but I don't see the start button for the session I'm leading in 3 minutes.
That's important.
Yes.
Can you go to the help room? Do you have that number?
Yeah, I was in the help desk, but no one let me in.
Oh, good gracious. Okay. Let me make sure that why don't you leave this one, Hannah, but I'll chat our chat group right now and make sure that you are host of your session.
Perfect, because yeah, I must not be the host.
Good gracious. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks so much. I'll hop out.
Okay, thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
They just be passing, passing, and in time they go. Our love is here to stay.
Hello, we will get started soon. I don't know why I have this recording. We're not so that folks can watch this session later, or at least the second half of it. Yeah, if you're just joining us in the recording, sorry, I paused it for the first half. Anyway, somebody asked me in the chat, they said they didn't see the teacher folder option in the private folder. I'm just going to share screen and show that before I move on. And let's see, you should be able to see my Seesaw screen right now. Here's this student called Ima. And I'm going to click on their folders so I can. You might end up clicking the Manage Folders button. I'm not sure. I would say just keep clicking things. You might have, you can often find folders here. So you can look at either the whole class journal. I could choose a student, and then you can hopefully check your different folders there. If not, go into the wrench and fool around with below students and families, fool around with folder manage folders. Just keep trying things, and if that absolutely doesn't work, send me an email and we'll figure it out. So thank you for that. All right. Well, I hope you found, at least had a chance to play with one or two things around assessment that could be used. I will now move on to using Seesaw as a communication tool. And we won't have time for turn and talk today, but we will talk about using it as a tool for family partnership or communicating with families. Another way of thinking of that is using it as, look, Grandma, look what I did. Because Seesaw is a way that when parents are busy or maybe they, you can't have them in the classroom, it's a way of having them find out almost live and in real time what their student is doing. So let's talk about that. We're going to talk about two types of family communication that you can do with Seesaw. And we're going to then explain the steps for families, getting them signed up so that they can see what their child is doing. We'll actually experience the communication process as a teacher and a parent. And then we're going to map out well, we won't have time to map out your journey, but hopefully you'll have just a moment to think about what is your first step. So let me model the process. Actually, there are two kinds of ways that you can communicate, that communication can happen with families. One is through student journal posts, and the other is through teacher-generated messages. So let's actually do a student journal post for a second. I'm going to go over to, I'll bring in Seesaw in my, here's a sandbox class I've had for a while. And let's say that a student has logged in. This would be, I'm doing this as a teacher, but a student sees basically the same screen. And so let's say they do a little video where they say, hi, mom, it's my first day of school, yay. Okay, so they created the video, it's done. Maybe you got the video recorded for them, not sure. Check the green check box to save it. We're going to assign this to Ima. Check the green checkbox again to say, yes, I meant to do that. Put this in Ima's beginning of year folder in case you want to organize yourself. And right here in both the class journal and in Ima's section, we see this new post. And then we can also, I can like it, I can make a comment, etc. Now, because this has posted to the student journal, you do have to go over in your class settings. Where is it? Student. Oh, you do have to enable families to have access to the journal so that they can see it. But anyway, once it's posted in the student's journal, I'm going to move over to what the family sees. I have logged in over here as a fake parent. And as a fake parent, oh, there it is. I just got something new. Let's see what that is. Oh, as a fake parent, I'm at lunch. My phone vibrated. It's the Seesaw app. I find out that my child just posted something. I can click on it. Hi, mom, it's my first day of school, yay. And suddenly you've just involved your parent, and maybe even a grandmother who might be over in Singapore can suddenly see what their grandchild is doing just about live and in real time. That's pretty powerful. I'm gonna stop for a second on that and ask, first of all, before I ask if there are any questions, Lori, I'm gonna ask how did I do on that? Because you use this a lot. Is there a step that I missed or something I could have said more clearly that might help someone who hasn't done this before? And you are muted because I appreciate your muting, but you can unmute for a second.
You just have to practice it.
Yep. And can you remind me what it is? There's a step I can set so that I have to approve messages before they go to the journal, because once they're in the journal, if I've set it so families can, access, then they can see what's in the journal. I know a kindergarten teacher has said that she will once a year hear, but usually a bunch of boys laughing over in the corner, and she'll go over and she'll see one of them like took a picture of the other one's butt and posted it to the journal. So the teacher has decided to always approve before they post. Can you remind me how to do that?
Yeah, it's in settings, I believe. So,
Okay.
you go to the wrench and you go to settings and it says teacher approved posts.
It's probably under student journal, right?
Could be, but yeah, again, it's in the settings. I mean, I've already done it, so I don't
Yeah, you're all set.
necessarily go over, but that's a very important step. That you get to see everything before it's posted.
It's in there somewhere. Sorry, folks, it's been a summer since I've done this, so I can't find it. But if you just prowl around the settings, that is where it happens. So thank you, Laura. I
It's
appreciate it.
up in the wrench somewhere.
Okay, very good. So that is one of the ways that you can use Seesaw to communicate with families where children get to actually share their work. They can, if they did an assignment in Seesaw, like if you go to Seesaw 101 and learn how to make an assignment or grab an assignment, student can post that. It might be something they did right in Seesaw. It could be a picture that they drew that they held up and took a camera of, or it could be them holding up their work and describing it to their parents. You can't have every student post every day, especially if you teach younger learners, but you can sort of have a rotation and make sure that every day 1 or 2 students gets to communicate with their parents as part of the day. Anything you want to add about Seesaw in terms of sharing journal posts, Lori, or anyone else who's done it, for those who haven't?
No, but I just went in to remind myself how to do it. If you go to the wrench and you have to go down to, you just go all the way down under class settings, and what it asks you is new items require approval. And you
Okay.
have to move the button over so it turns blue.
Class settings, I'm in there. Where was that now?
Keep going it's almost about halfway down. It says
Okay.
new items require approval.
New items are, oh yeah, there it is. And so I already had it turned on.
Yeah.
And that means that when I log into Seesaw as a teacher, in my little feed, I'll see a student post. I think it's even a funny color to flag it for me that I still need to approve it. And then you just click on the approve button.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laurie. I appreciate your rescuing me. Okay. We're going to look at one more thing before we run out of time, which is how to actually use Seesaw as a communication tool yourself. Some schools use Class Dojo or Parent Square or other things. There are issues with that. Like as a teacher, you may not be able to control it. You may have parents saying things that you really wish they couldn't, and you wish you had a little more say. Also, you have to sign people up and get their email addresses, etc. Seesaw lets you communicate directly with families. I'm going to show you how to do that once I share my screen. Then I have to show you how to sign families up. So we have a few things to do in the next couple of minutes. Okay, so what I would do if I wanted to message with parents is I would click on messages. I would click new. And I can either make an announcement, which is a one-way thing like, hey, we're having a field trip next week. Don't forget to have your kids bring their permission slip, or a conversation, which is back and forth. And then you can add people once parents are part of the class, you can add them. You can also add students if you want. And then you type something, you hit send down at the bottom. So field trip tomorrow. This is a conversation, so that they could answer back. Oh, sorry, I need to choose the person. So I would choose a class, as I have several. I could just select audience. Sorry, I'm having computer issues right now. I could select audience like family members, so just send it to parents. I select the class, and then I type my message and hit send. And then the families get a notification on their phone. The great thing about Seesaw is that if parents have downloaded the app too and join your class, Seesaw, let's say you have some Mandarin speaking families in your class and at home, and they speak Mandarin at home and they use simplified Chinese. So you can actually send out your message in English. And if the parent has Seesaw on their phone, Seesaw will recognize that the parent's phone has simplified Chinese as its default language. And as soon as your message comes in, the parent opens the message and they see in Mandarin, in simplified Chinese, it will say, do you want me to translate this? And they would click yes. And then your whole letter that you typed in English shows up in their language. If you have 3 or 4 different languages, you've just translated for all of the different families in your class without actually translating. Seesaw did it for you. It's such a powerful tool that the school, Alice Fang Yu, last I knew, they actually used Seesaw as their school-wide communication tool for announcements, and then kids were already using it in class, so also for sharing work. So very quickly, because I gotta let you go, I got like a minute. How do you invite families? I'm gonna show you, and then I gotta let you go. Sorry, I didn't even give you time to do the session feedback, but I hope you do feedback. Anyway, let me show you. I'm sharing screen. Gonna get out of messages. I'm in my practice class. So I'm going to go to down here. I'm going to add family members. A couple ways you can do this. You can enter an email address. You can print out invitations with a QR code, or you can share an invite link by your school newsletter or something like that. The print invites is pretty cool because everyone gets their own individual QR code, and you can choose the language that you want it to go out in. One thing I would recommend, I'm going to go back to my slides for a second. If I can find my slides. There are my slides. Is in the slide deck. By the way, everything we're doing has videos, so you can watch it again with videos that Seesaw made, which are much better than the way I do videos. So there's even a video here that shows you how the translation tool works. Everything I showed has a video in the slide deck. How do you sign parents up? There's a video she'll show you. We're not going to watch her because we're running out of time. There's a handout in English and Spanish that you could send out. But what I recommend is do it either during back to school night or conferences, where maybe conferences because you want time to get going with Seesaw in the classroom first. But then use this little screen, print it out or show it on the screen in your classroom, this slide, and have families, open up their camera, and if they have an Android, have them point over to the Google Play one. Once the camera recognizes that's a QR code, it will open up the Google Play Store. It will have the parents have the chance to download the app. You can have them sign up right there, with the app, create their account. And then once they've created their account using their email address, you can have that other printout with the print invitation, and it will have the QR code there so they can scan that, and suddenly they have the app on their phone. They have connected with your class and with their child, and it's done. Again, practice, just try it out and it ought to work. Now, because you have a sandbox class, let me show you one thing you can try. I'm going to cancel that. Is you can actually, you can create a sample student. So I created, there's one called sample student that they provide, but I created one called Ima, and with Ima, this fictitious student, I actually associated an email address that's another one of my email addresses. So I could practice logging in as student and see what Ima sees. But then I also, for Ima, I created a family member, practice family member who's like Ima's fake dad. And let's see, do we have that? I think it's in here in families. Anyway, Yes, I created a fake dad for Ima. I did add families. And I associated that with another one of my personal email addresses. So now I can practice sending messages to myself as a teacher and as a parent. I can practice answering back. I can practice the translation tool. I get to find out what Seesaw is like from all the different ways. And then when it's time to actually go live and invite real families, I've done it. I know how it works. I feel confident. I'm not just guessing because I saw it on a video, but I actually did it myself. I know I've thrown a lot at you. I do encourage you to go through the slide deck, watch the videos, because everything you need is in there. And that will let you take your time. So I appreciate that very much. Before we go, though, I am going to give you one more thing. Where are my tabs? Which is the, I'll stop sharing, but I would love if you could fill out the feedback form and help me make this better for you. In fact, one of the things you might say is, can you please divide this up into 2 sections because it was too much? Yeah, I get that completely. Here is the feedback form. Let me find that. There it is. You can fill it out sometime by tonight. That would be great. I'll put it in the chat. And it's the same feedback form all day. You just have to select this session, which is called Seesaw, your new assistant for assessment and family partnership. I'm gonna let you go. I want to thank you for being wonderful and attentive. I wish we were in person. It's easier to work with you that way, but have a beautiful digital district day and have a wonderful start of school. I wish you a great year with your students. I hope to see you around the district, everyone. Enjoy.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm off to present at another session, but go ahead and check out Seesaw 101 if you haven't, and email me. My email address is in the slide deck if you have a question. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
All right, hate to kick you out, but I have to end the Zoom so I can join another session. Take good care, everyone.